In this demonstration, we'll be working with the ingestion points from CluedIn. Think of this as a way for other systems to be able to push their data to the CluedIn platform instead of CluedIn having to fetch it from a data source. Think of this for streaming cases, real-time webhooks, or just integrating really nicely with ETL tools. So let's go ahead and let's create a brand new ingestion endpoint. So let's say this data is coming from a sales system. Okay? In this case, just like we had support with files, we can create a group to host this data within. So let's say a group called sales. Next, it's going to give me the ability to set a friendly name for our data. So let's call this incoming sales. And we get to choose from an existing mapping that we may have already built within the platform, or we can create a brand new mapping on the fly. This is asking me to specify what types of data should I be expecting to come in on this channel of data. For this, we get to choose our ingestion entity type. Think of this like the domain of data. So let's say that we're onboarding something called organizations. And as we can see, as we start to type, there's actually already the concept of an organization that ships out of the box with CluedIn. So let's use that. I'm going to click Add. And this is now going to generate me an ingestion endpoint of which I can start posting data to from third-party systems. Of course, this is all backed by authentication. You can see that this is the endpoint that's been generated for me, but it requires an API token to be created and put into this request so it can authenticate. Let's go off and click. It'll take us to create a brand new endpoint, and we can create a token called sales token. We can also specify how long we would like this token to last for. Now, in this particular case, I know that I'm just going to do a once-off ingestion, so I'm just going to keep this at 30 days. We're going to generate our API token, and in a moment, we'll come back and we'll copy this to the clipboard. So let's head back to our ingestion endpoint, and let's take this URL and copy it to our clipboard. Then going to go over to a tool that I can use to basically generate or simulate data being sent from another system. Here we have a tool called Postman that allows us to do that. If we read the instructions, it said that it asks for the data to be a post. We need to paste in the URL that we copied from the user interface of CluedIn. And then we need to head to authorization and change this to a bearer token. It's asking me to insert my token here. So let's head back, copy this to the clipboard, and paste this token into the interface. Next, we head over to the body and we change this to raw. We're going to change the type to JSON to reflect that we're receiving JSON data from that stream. And then it asks us for what data we're actually receiving. Now, CluedIn at this endpoint supports bulk ingestion, hence why we're ingesting with these little square brackets to indicate that this is an array or a list of data. So we can ingest multiple records at the same time. Then we need to specify a structure. So let's just keep it simple. I'm going to specify that the object has an ID of 1. And we have a name of Hello World. You can then click Send. You can see that the success has been set to true. It's been received. And if we head back to our ingestion endpoint, without even the need to refresh the screen, we can see that our ingestion endpoint is quite happily accepting this data into the platform. Now we can just go map it like we did with our files. Let's head to the mapping. Let's map our data. Let's click Next. And you can see that organization has been automatically filled for me. Now all I need to do is specify the vocabulary. You can see that there's a preview of that data here. We can click Create Mapping. And we can now ingest this data into the platform. you can see that it's automatically detected that ID can be used as a unique key. The only difference we're going to do with the ingestion endpoints is we're also going to toggle this auto submission. We're going to process this data now into the platform where it's going to move that one record and publish it into the MDM system so that other users can see it. So let's head over to our search, and you can see that my Hello Well record is there. Let's head to the properties and see that we have an ID of 1 and a name of Hello World. Let's head back and let's change this to an ID of 2, and let's buy world. So we click send. Now let's head back to our integration endpoint and let's just piece together what happened. We've got our sales channel here. We've got our ingestion endpoint that now has 2 rows of data, hi and buy world. We can head over to the process, and you can see that because of auto submission, the next record didn't require me to click this process button. You can see why this is very valuable for live streams of data. Let's head back to our search, and you can now see that my buy world record has come in here as well.